Hello, hello, beautiful people. Wow, so glad, so honored, and so joyful to be here again after a pause of about 2 weeks and to see you here in the room, to see your beautiful faces and to feel you. So glad that we get together again for an hour or so. First of all, just to be together, just to feel our essences and just to see that we missed each other. At least I missed you. Oh, yes, waiting for the people to land. Today we are going to have the Art of Listening room. And I'm going to host alone, but I know that I'm not alone. Octavian cannot come today because he's traveling. It's his turn to travel. So it's my joy to be with you. He will be in spirit with us anyway. As you have noticed, since 1 month, more or less 1 month, we changed the name of the room. It was The Power of Listening initially, and we changed it to The Art of Listening, honoring the going deeper with this topic and feeling, maybe more sensible, even more sensible approaches. So the art of listening. And today I propose you to focus on how we listen paradoxes. So this is a topic that came to me during the travel that I had, but also is a topic that I have seen and perceived and listened in my life in the last years. So it's my joy to propose it to you and to explore it together. So, I'm coming back to the rhythm. I'm coming back also to the internet connection, because in the last 2 weeks I haven't had a very stable connection, and I was more, let's say, in the field, and I used the mobile phone mostly for pictures. And it was okay. It was really special to pause from this perspective as well. So, yes, welcome, dear ones. I really feel special to be again with you, and I propose you now in the beginning as an attunement to just close our eyes or keep them open and just breathe together, whether we are during the day, in the afternoon, or in the morning, or in the evening, wherever we are, each of us, and to just allow ourselves to relax and to enjoy being in our bodies, and to enjoy the life that we feel in our bodies, and to enjoy whatever happens in our bodies, and to enjoy the place where we are, the proximity, and to just enjoy the connection between us around the art of listening within this field of Hara Center that evokes this sacred place that we have inside us, this magic point in the middle, in the center of our bodies, of our beings. Oh, so let's just breathe together and be here and now and enjoy the flow and enjoy being beyond logic, because this is basically the topic for today. Thank you so much for being here. I feel lots of emotions, and I love feeling them. And I love not trying to control them, but to just letting them be and manifest inside me. So, welcome, dear ones. And yeah, let's just open this topic of paradoxes by any, let's say, definition. A paradox is something that is beyond any expected thing, is beyond any norm, beyond normality, beyond logic, beyond what our intellect can understand. However, it's something that we may encounter every day, maybe sometimes at every step, but we don't realize. And it contains aspects that apparently contradict themselves. However, each of these aspects contains truth. And as we are in Jinki's transmission in our lives, all of us, today we are in this beautiful energy of truth activated by the sun. So it will help us for sure, it will inspire us. So paradoxes are quirks in logic. And I feel that it's something interesting to just explore. You know, affirmations like less is more, or slowing down, we accelerate, or fear is safe, something like that. We may experience them in relationship. We may experience them in our work, in our service, in our houses maybe, in our families. We may notice them in nature as well. So, yeah, this is what I propose to you. And I will start with a little share coming from this amazing trip that I had in India for 2 weeks. This life is for the first time that I travel in that part of the world. I say this life because I could feel that in the journey of my spirit, definitely it was not for the first time, because I remembered from a cellular level many aspects of myself, frequencies, sounds, colors, shapes, meetings with beautiful entities, wonderful entities, presences, flavors, and also paradoxes, you know. So I could notice from the very first moment when arriving and when starting to observe that part of the world. And I was like, wow, this is gonna be maybe an experience marked by paradoxes. So I just try to let myself just flowing in this world of paradoxes, you know. And it was so good that I did that, because now after 2 weeks and after coming back and just resting, because I needed to have a rest, to sleep a lot and to come back to my rhythm, because there have been many activities and lots of visits in beautiful places, and I slept only a few hours each night, but it was good. So I enjoyed noticing, for example, that if apparently the world that I could perceive, see, listen, feel, showed me poverty, now after 2 weeks, I feel so rich inside. I feel so enriched by the whole experience, you know. And also, while apparently I saw some places that were very beautiful, you know, in nature, however, a little bit dirty, now I feel so purified inside me. And also, another aspect that I noticed, I was just, maybe it was an expectation from what I have read and listened. So I was expecting a lot of women and yin energy. And of course it was present. However, the dominant experience for myself was masculine, was young. But also I discovered a very sensible young who was bowing to the feminine. And it was really something that made me fly, you know. So I just wanted to open the field with little examples, you know, from this journey that was not a touristic journey. I was there to work with the 7 sacred seals, and I was there to get in contact with beautiful entities present in the evocations of the 7 sacred seals, and each and every sacred seal, maybe you know, has a beautiful figure, and most of them are Indian figures. And yeah, it was a very deep and powerful experience, and my listening skills helped me a lot to be in silence. Of course I communicated, of course I spoke, of course I sang, I danced, I manifested outward, but I enjoyed a lot my inward experience and my, you know, listening skills. And I will share more, but I would love to invite you to come here and to join me on the stage and to start sharing from your experiences what kind of paradoxes you have noticed, you have lived, you have experiences in your life lately, or maybe in some other times and moments of your life, but maybe you remember them right now, and how did you approach them, how you have managed to listen the message of those paradoxes, how have you enjoyed or approached the relationship with the truth within these paradoxes, and how did you feel? And yes, let's just dance together with this topic and any other, you know, ideas and stories and anything that you would like to come and share maybe connected with this quality that we all have of listening to ourselves, to the inner voice, but also to the other people, to the other forms of life. Yes, the outward, the epigenetics. Yes. So, yes, dears, so glad to be here with you and so honored and waiting for you to come. As I told you, I love the Sunday energy. I was born on Sunday, and a few days ago, on February 26th, it was my birthday, and it was a Sunday as well. And there were so many synchronicities. My goodness me, so many synchronicities. And I enjoyed them so much. I just finished my 55th year and just transitioned to the 56th. And I was surrounded literally by dragonflies each saint day. It was so beautiful. And yeah, I was so blessed to be able to go to Matri Mandir, that is a sacred place, a wonderful temple dedicated to the Divine Mother, and that was built according to the vision of an avatar who is called the Mother by the Indians, and her son, Aurobindo is his name, and who was considered also an avatar. So I was there and I was so honored and so happy to see that on February 28th, they celebrated the 55th year of Matri Mandir. So I was able to, together with a group, to participate at the ceremony, so simple and so powerful, with a fire and with very powerful affirmations from the Mother in a small but so vast amphitheater with a little hill surrounded by flowers and a wonderful fire, and people from all over the world being there present to just leave those moments of the sunrise and to listen the messages of the Great Mother, just telling to us that these are times of the new human. These are times of new consciousness coming on earth, and these are times of communion. These are times of simplicity. These are times of living beyond any religion, any ritual, any habits, and any complications, just to be. And it was really amazing, yeah. Oh, so, yeah, thank you for your messages on the chat, Esther and Shannon and Priya. And yeah, I could continue to share a lot because I enjoyed this experience a lot, and definitely I would share, but waiting for you to come here. So until you come, the synchronicities, the series of synchronicities for my birthday started in the morning when I met during breakfast and after the Qigong sessions, because each and every day I participated in Qigong sessions, and it was wow. With a sunrise for 1 hour to practice Qigong, it was beautiful, beautiful. And then I was in the breakfast, and I had a very special, feeling and sensations in my body. I was just flying. I was so joyful. The light was beautiful. Everybody was beautiful. And I entered the restaurant, and there was a very warm and smiling man there all in white. His clothes were white, and he was smiling continuously. And he came to me, and he just asked me if I knew what kind of juice they were serving. And but well, I didn't know, but I just enjoyed the connection with him because he was really, really a very pleasant presence. And then we just started to have breakfast, and suddenly he just stood up and launched a message to all of us. It was the room of the restaurant was full, and he said, in English, he was addressing, I believe that each of you know how to sing happy birthday. And I was like shocked because I didn't tell him anything about my birthday. And I was thinking, oh my God, how does he know? But suddenly I noticed that just near me, shoulder to shoulder with me, his wife was sitting, and he was just smiling, and she was impressed because actually it was her birthday as well. So his message was for his wife. So we just looked at each other, and I told to her, it's my birthday as well. So we just gave each other a warm hug, and we congratulated each other. So everybody sang to us happy birthday, and it was amazingly beautiful. We were like recognizing each other like birthday sisters. And then suddenly the organizers from the hotel came to us without knowing anything, and they proposed for the dinner to organize a party near the swimming pool. And I was like, oh my God, how do they know that it's our birthday? Everything was arranged. Everything was a celebration during all day long. And in the evening, of course, we danced a lot together, and with our group and their group, and it was wow, it was amazing. And I received as a gift a beautiful statue with Shiva dancing. And wow, I'm so happy as I speak to you. I'm looking at him, and the representation is so, so, so beautiful. I feel his energy inside me. So yeah, beautiful experiences, transmutation, alchemy, joy, blessing, lots of blessings. Yes, I was also in Tiruvannamalai, Arunachala mountain. That is a sacred mountain for the Indians, and it was the place of Ramana Maharshi, who is let's say associated by Richard with the 25th Jinki and the third sacred seal, universal love. And it was amazingly beautiful to be there on those places and to be able to visit the two caves where he had his retreat. The first retreat for 7 years, where he illuminated his mother, and the second cave for 17 years. So yeah, it was really, really a blessing to be there. So yes, dears, thank you so much for being here. So let's share together about paradoxes. What is a paradox for you? And what kind of paradoxes have you lived? And yeah, whatever you feel inspired to share about paradoxes and the art of listening. Thank you, Dia, so much for your message. I missed you so much. in the meantime, I suppose that you participated to many other activities. Some of you are in the Deep Dive Venus, so maybe you attended the community calls, or maybe you participated in some other rooms here on Clubhouse. So I'm sure that you have enjoyed them. So Olivia, dear, welcome to the stage. So glad that you are here. Missed you too.
Oh, Claudia, it's so wonderful to feel all of this journey and joy from you. Oh my goodness. Yeah, thank you. I had an intention of not speaking because I haven't been present on your calls in so long. I've barely been present on Clubhouse at all. And so in a way, even I could say, what came to my mind first was one story, but as you continue to invite us, I was, contemplating just some of, my shadow aspects that have been paradoxical in that moment, reflecting with why I wouldn't, share. And, my first reason was because I'm growing into that power of listening, that ability to really listen with my whole body. I feel like I know that I have, and I know I have that natural gift in my life in many ways, where I listen to life, and yet through my own fear, through my own wounding, my own needing to, I want to say, put my staff in the ground of my own truth. There's often also been, closed doors and limited, there it is, in my throat, limited listening because of needing to protect myself. So that reflection that I was hearing when you were continuing to invite us was around selfishness and presence. And I was like, oh, so the paradox of selfishness. Selfishness could mean, taking over, speaking too much, not listening. And selfishness could mean not speaking and holding back, right? Holding within. And for fear, for not readiness, for not having self-trust, for any sort of beliefs that I'm paying into, in the world that I believe are true, or that are floating around in, the ether of my mind that haven't been cleared yet, something like that. So, yeah, I love what you've been sharing so far, and the first three examples I thought were really beautiful. Maybe exploring those more if nobody else had something specific to share about a paradox today. I've definitely felt that, or maybe my nature is, when I contemplate my keys, is to feel into and kind of see the scenarios of every possible way that the energies, that the shadow or the gift of the city can be experienced or witnessed, as a behavior or a expression. And so that always feels paradoxical to me. It's like the energy of seeing both sides of a word, or an energy. And that serves me this morning. Actually, what I was going to share, but wasn't going to share because I wanted to just listen, was working with my radiance, was recognizing that that over this last year and a half, as I've begun to start studying with Gene Keys more, that through circumstance and also choice, that I hadn't dived deeply into receive, to listen to the teachings, and that my trust of myself and my need to feel safe also was again staying attached, staying fully sovereign, grounded in my own truth, but then not letting other truth in, and then also still responding and reacting to pieces and parts that I would, attach to the words and have, a personal trigger about, or a belief system or an opinion about. And that was keeping me from going deeper. And so in a way, it was a form of my 20 of superficiality, the very opposite, the very paradox of who and how I am. How I am in my being is this very deep, intimate person that has had a lot of need for growth and healing around distance and around the lack of intimacy and being denied and all of those sorts of energies that are reflected in my profile. And yet when I when I don't take the time and energy to dive fully, to receive fully, to listen fully to a teaching, to a person, certainly I know that one-on-one with a person, I don't have any idea, who that person really is. This is the foundation of the work, of my relating work and my intimacy work, my relationship work, is to help people recognize that or to work with that. And yet I recognized this morning, as I finally listened to the audio from Richard of truth, I was ready to listen to it this morning, and I was in other places and hadn't listened to it at all prior and needed to for many different reasons in my personal story that was kind of unfolding for me. And I was just like broken. I was just like, yay, there it is again. Yes, I've heard, Richard say it's a transmission and don't, hold on to and attach to the details. And yes, it's for each of us. And yet my freedom and my truth was just absolutely blessed. And all of that resistance and all of my analytical pieces were kind of, stripped from me in that moment that I received that transmission, that I heard fully that transmission. And so in that, I heard myself and saw myself being superficial, relating to the surface of gene keys, if you will, and I'm simplifying it. But I just kind of sat in that place of kind of awe and humility, and I work with, the lightness of embracing the shadow in that way. And so I can be there. And of course, there's a little bit of like, holy cow, but there's beauty there for me too. So I just, I'm in a place of, humble grace with just recognizing that, life, certainly my life, and encountering Gene Keys and the Gene Keys community is continuing to ask me to walk my talk in every energy imaginable. And to be shown that I wasn't is the work, is why I believe we're here, shows me where I need to heal and how I can heal and, what I need to grow into. So receiving more, listening more fully, being intimate in all of my receiving of everything and not living at a surface level of anything, even if it's about keeping me safe. There's that. I'm not sure what I'd love to ask you to repeat what your example of the safety was, that paradox. I feel like there was some energy there that I'd love to hear again. Anyway, I'd love to explore again. But so I love the paradoxes in a lot of truth teachings, and I find them to be true, and I love truth. And I find that even when I'm making a statement of truth, that it's like, yeah, and it's also not, and it's also this other. So, thank you for the call today and for your beautiful just vibration through all of your pictures I've just been drinking in and everything that you're sharing and teaching and, holding us with. Yeah, love to everybody.
Thank you so much, Olivia. Wow. I love to hear you and to listen to you. It is true that I haven't listened to you for a while. And it is okay. It is okay. I empathize so much with you because we really need sometimes to just honor what we feel, to just, listen inwardly more and speak only when we just feel too. And thank you so much for coming and sharing all your thoughts and all your, shadow alchemy and your love for paradoxes. We all know that we we are interpreted as weird people, it's true. It's true, but we love that. I mean, we love what's, as I said in the beginning, what's beyond the logic. And the affirmations, the paradoxical affirmations, Olivia, as you asked to repeat them. The examples, let me see if I remember all of them. It was less is more. It was the first. Then fear is safe, like Richard says. Fear is safe. And another one could be from the Jinkies as well, Jinkies wisdom as well. By slowing down, we accelerate our evolution, actually. So I think it was these three there were. But of course, we may find more. I mean, we may just listen and find more and just share here with some other people, For example, this morning came to me, freedom is safe, because yes, when we feel that we are just freer and freer in expression, like you shared as well, Olivia, more natural, more authentic, more ourselves, more together with our divine self. Of course, there is a risk. Of course, we are risking, but this is safe. This is so, so safe. So, thank you so much, Olivia. I enjoy your presence and your share, and thank you so much. So anytime if you'd like to intervene more and to share more, please do. So we have Mbali with us, we have Sarah with us. I'm so happy. So I pass the mic to any of you in which order you feel to. Thank you so much. I'll go ahead and go. Okay.
No, okay, Sarah, you go. All right. So I'm sure I have many paradoxes in my life, but nothing specific, no specific situation. I think as we get into the conversation, something might come up. But the thing that did come up was so I live in Arizona where there's a lot of pine trees and desert. And in 2020 and 2021, I walked a lot and hiked a lot. Mostly, just to release a lot of the energy and the clutter in my mind, so I could make better decisions. And one place that I walked, I was teaching third grade at the time, and it's when both girls were pretty suicidal. And they were at their dad's half the time. So I just would go to this park after school every day and just walk. And it was a beautiful park. I loved the trees, the pine trees. It was really a wooded, parts of it were wooded. But I watched that trail so many times. And one day I looked down and there's this huge white mushroom growing next to this pokey pokey cactus plant, and I just stopped and looked at it, and I, just went into contemplation about how two very different plants, with very different functioning, lived together, and they were thriving. Like, I looked at the other plants around, and this mushroom and this cactus looked so healthy. And anyway, I'm not any expert on plants or anything, but I study here and there. But I thought, there's got to be something within each of them that helps the other grow. And how that needs to be the way it is sometimes in order for us to grow is to learn to thrive with different beings and things that are much different than us. And so I just thought I'd bring that into the conversation, to see if it helped many of us think of specific examples in our life. So I'll step back and let Mabali speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. So sweet. Oh, so sweet. If I tell you suffering is sweet, you'll tell me, wow, what a paradox. But wow, sometimes, this sweetness comes from the bitterness. So maybe, the sweetness that I feel that you have in your essence, comes out, and you let it come into the world through the bitterness of your experience. So, wow, thank you so much for coming here and for sharing. And the same, when you feel to intervene and to share more, please do so. Thank you. And Bali, I pass you the mic.
Welcome back, Claudia. It's so beautiful to hear your story. And this profile picture is just stunning and can really feel the line 3 celebration alive now. It's so lovely. Thank you for sharing that. And hello, beautiful Kiss family. Oh, it really inspired me when you were sharing these, going back with the paradoxes. I'd love to share perhaps the biggest paradox that the Venus sequence has been schooling me very hard on. It's finding comfort within my discomfort. And specifically, finding my seat. So it's been an active mantra that I've really had to say to myself, especially this activation of the codon ring of divinity. I have, if not the key, the programming partner in the whole codon ring. So my level of both turbulence and both bliss has been really paradoxical. And I found myself in extreme places of discomfort where other times if it's such deep anger or it's such sadness and even false bliss, the kind of ecstasy that actually leads to perhaps questionable choices. And I've had to keep repeating, find your seat, sit in your seat. And when those incredible places of discomfort come up, I've again had to speak out loud and say, it's happening. It's happening. This is it. Here's your chance. It's happening. find the comfort here. Find a place where it is comfortable within this immense discomfort. And another one that I think has really opened up fully, and I get it now, is this suffering is grace. And with the activation now of the 22 coming, I have the 47 in my SQ. And for me, it's been a very physical expression of this storehouse of human karma. It's been very physical and strange things and a whole long story. And I feel inside my being that when that happens, it's like flipping a coin of consciousness, of conscious choosing to shift my perspective from the lens of the 47, which moves from oppression, and then to transfiguration, and to look then through the lens of the 22 and apply that gift of graciousness. And it's almost as if this paradox teaches that without, in any case, in my story, without this invitation for the physical suffering, the equal amount of graciousness also can't come to the table. And I feel that as I continue to work this and work as much karma out of the physicality as needed, then hopefully the juxtaposition, the polarities, and the paradox will grow smaller and smaller, that it doesn't need to be so extreme. And then, too, within those states, to find my seat. And I'd love to share just one last thing. It happened yesterday, the day before, Friday. My living grandmother, who is 82, called me in tears. She's been to the doctor 5 times, and the pharmaceutical medicines aren't helping, and she is at a loss, and she's on her knees. And please, can I help her? And I knew instantly when I was at home what it was, when I was looking in my medicines. And when I went to go see her with this medicine, she said that she doesn't understand how in 82 years of her life, she's never ever had this. And now she's got it for the first time. And it was exactly what nearly took my life a year ago, almost to the month. And that also showed me this incredible power, if I'm specifically working with the 47, of when we heal. I mean, it applies to everything, of course. I'm just looking at it through this lens. When we heal the self, the timelines in which it ripples are so non-linear to what our little minds can perceive. It's like it's opened my awareness so much more that it not only goes back to what was, healing those ancestors that have encoded your meat vessel, also going into the here and now, into the soul I am, but then also going into your fractal DNA family of we are, I am, and how absolutely powerful that is. Yeah, beautiful paradoxes. And thank you very much for the space and the sharing. What a beautiful topic. Jalalala. Lots of love.
Yoo-hoo-hoo. Beautiful. Wow. Thank you, Mbali, so much for your rich share, musical share. Wow. Yes. Ah, so rich, these paradoxes, right? So actually, what we realize more and more, deeper and deeper, is that actually these paradoxes that come, as Olivia said in the beginning, from the shadow, yes, coming from the shadow frequency, they invite us to the center actually. So of course we pass through extremes, of course, but then actually we are invited to the center. And wow, it's like you said, Bali, sometimes it's so uncomfortable, but you know, it's so comfortable to be uncomfortable when we work with the Jinkies and we just trust. Because what I discover step by step, more and more, day by day, instant by instant, is that this trust, the trust, and trust the trust is something. It's a precious key in our processes, in our lives. And oh, thank you so much for what you brought here. Thank you for bringing the wisdom and the healing from the spirit of the plants and physically. And thank you for bringing the energy of your grandmother. And I'm so glad for her that she asked for help. So glad. When you shared, I felt, and I still feel this joy, you know, deep, deep, deep joy for doing that. Wow. You know, as you mentioned the ring of divinity and actually the ring of alchemy as well, both of them are activated right now. The ring of divinity through Jinki 63, the truth by the sun, and the ring of alchemy through the Jinki 64 by the earth. And you know, these two Jinkis are paradoxical because the Jinki 64, that is the last one, actually is the penultimate, as Richard so beautifully explains. And then the penultimate, the 63, actually is the last one, because the truth comes in the end, comes after the illumination. And this is a paradox, you know, actually. And also from the I Ching, you know, 63 is water over fire, and 64 is fire over water. So both of them are paradox for the mind, of course. But on a subtle level, we just feel how fire and water, they dance together and they feel so well together. So, wow, it's so beautiful. And this invitation to the center, as I spoke to you about the 63 and the 64, the physiology of both of them is the pineal gland. So actually the center, you know, one center, you know, in the body. So I love this journey to the center, however it reveals to us, and these invitations that we receive each saint day to go to the center, you know. For me, it's really precious, and I love to listen from you as well, with different words, different stories, different perspectives. But actually, it's the same journey to the center. So yeah, thank you so much. If any of you feel to maybe to give examples of other paradoxes that you have lived, maybe you have discovered some paradoxes, or you listen some messages regarding paradoxes right now, please come and share. I may stay some minutes more, and I would love to listen from you. Yeah, for me, this paradox, one of these paradoxes that I lived in India regarding so many men, wherever I went. I know that the statistics tell this, But I was not there for the statistics. I was there to just live the experience, and the experience revealed to me that there were so many men that I could see everywhere, in the ashram, in the shops, in the tuk-tuks, in the these very cute vehicles with which we were traveling in the city, everywhere, in Ramana's caves, in the temples, lots of men. Of course, there were women as well, but they were less. But the paradox for me was even deeper, was that I was seeing, noticing, smelling, perceiving, listening the feminine inside the men. So this is what I noticed, the way they were looking at people, the way they were moving, the way they were praying, even many times the way they were speaking, their gestures. I was seeing a lot of feminine and sensibility in those men, and for me it was wow. I mean, at least this was my perception, and I loved it. I mean, I loved it, including in the shops. Some of the men knew lots of things, spiritual things, and of course they were negotiating. Of course they were just wanting to sell the things. Of course they were just doing their best to get their profits. But the way they were doing that, for me, in many cases, they were impressive, because they were sharing wisdom. And they were doing this, some of them, many of them, with sensibility. I could notice that sensibility. And they noticed, I noticed. And it was such a beautiful connection, because when they noticed, I noticed, they stopped to negotiate. They just let my freedom to decide, and just started to inspire me with messages of wisdom. And it was so precious. Yeah. So thank you so much. We have Priya on the stage. So Priya, dear, the mic is yours.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you, everybody who's here and everybody who came up to speak. I'm so inspired by all of you. And I'm just so happy to feel you back from India, and what a richness and that I feel in you, and a depth. So it's such a blessing to be here and receive that. And I loved in the beginning how it just seemed to take some time, and there was much to share. There was much in your sharing, so just loved that. And I love that slow unwinding that we started with. While we were in that unwinding, this vision came to me, and I'll try to share it here. For a long time, I've been on this journey where I see how I make something wrong. I make something wrong in my life. I make an experience wrong, or something that's happening to my children. And I've had this practice for a while of like, what if I didn't make that wrong? What if it wasn't wrong or bad? And I've noticed that as I take out my idea that it's wrong and it's bad, that it's something much different than I initially encountered it as that when I was experiencing it as wrong and bad, I was kind of shutting down to the life of that and shutting down to opening to what was actually happening there. So when I was listening earlier, I had the vision of life, life being a beautiful, intimate lover, and when your lover comes to you or your partner and shows you all the parts of themselves, the bad and the good, or even your child, shows you what's going on for them that's hard. Like, I never feel sad or that I want to push that away. I feel like it's such a beautiful thing. And so I had the vision of life being that lover, and when life is choosing to show me something that's hard or difficult, or I'm not just show me, but if I'm experiencing it through my body and my being, it's like there's a preciousness there, that and an honoring that wow, life feels so safe with me that it's going to show me this aspect of it, because I'm not going to make it wrong. And so when I had that vision and I had that, it was just everything to me. You know, I have aligned twos in my activation. I'm a 6-2, and I have a lot of other twos in my chart. So that marriage, that line of being in relationship with something, so being in relationship with life, and yeah, so that we have to bring it back to the paradox, to connect how it's like I go on in life and like there's less and less paradoxes, because it's like it's not bad or wrong or good, and it just is. And of course there's like the journey along the way when I encounter each thing that I notice, oh, there, I'm making that thing wrong or bad. And yeah, like a kind of a simple example of it is that my children go to the local schools around here and the public schools, and so they come home and they may say things like, oh, this math is so boring, and I don't like to do it all these ways that they want me to do it. And when I encounter that with like not making it wrong or bad, with the curiosity of like, what is this experience for my son when he, and what is this teaching him about his life? Like maybe he'll learn a lesson of perseverance with something that he doesn't necessarily like. But if I come in with my idea of like, I don't like the way these schools are teaching things, and they should teach them a different way, I kind of close off that whole experience from happening, from having its own life. So there's this deeper listening there of like, that there is a life that's happening through life, through me. And when I listen, it's something far beyond my initial thought about it. So I don't know if that made any sense at all. But it's really wonderful to be here with you, and the gift in this intimate space. And it's a lot of women here, and it's small, and my heart always feels so relaxed to be with you all. So much love.
Thank you so much, sweet Priya. Wow, that was so beautiful. Thank you for sharing your visions and your experiences, and thank you for bringing this vision of life being the perfect partner. Oh wow, this is here I come with a sigh, you know, as you always come with a sigh, and I love it. Now it's my turn. I like this vision, yes, of life being the perfect partner, the whole being the perfect partner. And because this enriches all our experiences in relationships, you know, with humans. It's beautiful. Mm. And yes, I know I empathize with you and with your children as well. I know how it is to pass through these experiences of not liking the school, not liking any discipline, not liking a system, you know, not liking something that seem limitation, you know. But yeah, part of the dance of life. Wow, thank you so much. We had two more people on the stage, but apparently they left. Yeah.
Claudia,
Yes.
I thought of something I could share.
Please, Sarah, please.
And
you can do it now. Yes.
Okay. What you said really helped direct me a little bit, and yeah, there's just been really cool things happening with my family the last couple weeks. My siblings, I've shared a little in one of the other Gene Key rooms, but it's a growing, strong story. So I'll add a few more details and repeat a little bit. But so, you know, my life has been about knowing my voice and using it. And I've had a lot of challenges throughout the years, including with my family, of having my voice be heard. But so me, you know, my family is seeing me as the quietest one out of 10 kids, being faced with, you know, accusations that are absolutely so far from who I am, and yet having to stand, you know, and within corrupt systems, stand up for myself time after time after time. But a couple weeks ago, I really felt impressed to express my gratitude to my 9 siblings. We had gotten together 4 years ago when I first left, and it was the first time we had all been brought together since our family was torn apart, or our perceived differences in our religious beliefs kind of threw us all in different directions. And so 4 years ago, they all decided to come together to help me through my difficult situation. There was a lot of trauma at first. I didn't see what was going on while I was in the marriage. And so when I came out, I was processing my 17 years of marriage like constantly, and I couldn't function. I couldn't function as a mother at all. And so I had an older sister come and help me. She scheduled 2 weeks at a time for a sibling or a sister-in-law to come help me. And that went on for 6 months, even through a major back surgery that I had. I had my younger brother come. He lives about 10 hours away from me. And he's the sibling I spent the most time with. His name's Matt. and he's 3 years younger than me, but it meant a lot for me to have. He came specifically for my back surgery so he could carry me and do any of the housework. I was just moving into another place with my girls and needed a lot of furniture and stuff put together. And it just meant so much. I had a sister-in-law come from Maine for 2 weeks, and I mean, there's many others, and I had asked my family to just let me kind of listen. Just so 4 years ago, I asked them to just keep this room going, but let me step away from it because it was too much for me to try to keep them updated on things happening. I was just trying to deal with my own emotions, and there's a lot of harsh things that happened within the legal process that was just too hard for them to hear at the time, and I didn't know how to express it in a way that was helpful. And so they allowed that. They were so respectful and just letting me kind of step back. And once in a while, I would just wish somebody happy birthday. But they've kept it going every day for 4 years. And 2 weeks ago, I just had a strong feeling to ask them to come together so I could thank them, in a Zoom call. And I'm just remembering the thing that triggered that was my thought of wanting to heal my relationship with my one sister. She's 5 years older than me, and just very, yeah, she's the last one of my siblings that I felt like I really haven't like cut through what's been there our whole life, what the conflict has been. And so I remember a couple weeks I voiced out loud, I said, "Kay, I'm ready to take on this relationship with Amy." And that's when I felt compelled to ask for that family meeting. And it ended up being everybody was there, all 9 siblings, which was amazing. But I was able to speak to them about my story in a way that was not negative and not victim mode, and just I didn't even speak about it much. I didn't want to, that wasn't the purpose. After I expressed my gratitude to my siblings, I felt impressed to open up the opportunity for them to be a part of the creative art store that I had been slowly building with my 2 daughters. And my family is very creative in many of the different arts, performing arts, woodworking. I mean, everything is covered within 10 kids, and there's 44 nieces and nephews. And we'd never been brought together on that, because of our creativity. I mean, we all had our separate things that we have done. But I thought, oh my goodness, what if I open this store up to each of them? And then my thoughts immediately started focusing on my nieces and nephews and really providing them a place to connect. And so during the meeting, I presented this to my siblings, and my siblings were silent for 2 hours while I just spoke about the good things that have come from me and my daughters and how well they're doing. And they were just speechless. It was so unusual, especially my sister Amy, who's, she's been difficult for my family. None of us have been able to know how to handle our gatherings. She has a way of I don't know how else to say it, but just sabotaging by needing to be understood at every family gathering. And it really had made it so all of us didn't want to gather just because we were so used to it being sabotaged. But I went to this meeting feeling so clear-headed, and in that moment, I was able to kind of take her comments and just bring them around to a more positive perspective of what was going on. And yeah, it was amazing. I was, by the end of 2 hours, I said, my voice is really scratchy. This is the most I've talked into her in 4 years. And they all laughed. And my oldest brother said, Sarah, this is the quietest I've been in 4 years. And I knew it was a very good meeting, effective. And the next morning I had my sister-in-law and brother call me, and they have separated themselves from the family. It was too difficult. They've been running a dance studio, their whole lives, raising 3 kids. And my sister-in-law never has been a part of the family. Just she had major conflicts with this one sister, and it just never was resolved. But the day after the meeting with my family, she called and she said, Sarah, I want you to head a youth retreat this summer at our family reunion. And she said, me and your brother will help, but we really want you to be the one to be with all the cousins. And there's 44 of them. Most of them are in their 20s and 30s. And she said, Sarah, it was all in your approach. And I was just very humbled and thoughtful about that's what finally brought my sister-in-law out, was somebody who approached something where everybody felt safe, I think. And yeah, since that first meeting, it's been amazing. I've had 3 more meetings and with siblings and nieces. And what's happening is I have one niece who's an expert at building a website. I have another who's an expert at Excel spreadsheets, and those 2 things are what I need right now to kind of help me get organized in order to move step by step ahead with this creative store. And everybody's so excited and so wanting to participate. The cousins are coming and saying, we don't know what we can do, and how to help, and they all want to help. And I just am able to hold this space where I'm confident and just taking this and building a strong foundation. And I've had one-on-one meetings with 3 of my nieces already. And I mean, the conversations alone and the healing that's being done is, I believe, the main reason. I think the creative art store is just an excuse to heal our relationships, but it's also something to keep our selves going, especially as things get a little more difficult here soon. And just the blessings that I feel come from this, and the gratitude my siblings have expressed. And my little brother, Matt, he was the only other person that spoke at the meeting, that first meeting. And he said, Sarah, I can't believe this. Like, it seems to me like this is your purpose. Like, this is the role that's perfect for you to bring our cousins, our nieces and nephews together. And he just sees all my suffering. He said, I never understood why you, out of all of us, have been through so much suffering. And it's been throughout my life, not just this marriage. But he said, now I see why. Like, I see all of that coming together for you to help our family. And when he said that, I felt such a deep joy in my heart, a joy that I haven't felt before. And it was a joy of feeling like I had a purpose in specifically serving my family. I don't understand, why that joy seems to be so much stronger as I turn back to my siblings. Not ever expecting to do this, I was expecting to get away and out, and now I'm turning back to them and wanting to be in this position. And so I just feel like all of my suffering has brought me to this immense joy that I have now, and it's growing. It continues to grow, and I do feel like it's so right. Me, out of any of the siblings, I went around to each family babysitting as the babysitter of the family. So I have a really unique position in my family where I know a lot of the nieces and nephews very, very well from living with them. So it's really cool to kind of feel my life, like all of a sudden it feels like everything that I've been through makes sense in a very real way. And so, yeah, divine joy coming from suffering is a paradox. Oh, I just want to mention my EQ is 63.3 and my culture is 22.3. So that probably has something to do with everything. But I'll stop sharing now. Thank you so much.
Wow, so beautiful, amazing, amazing. These lines 3, this joy, this archetype is full of joy. But you feel this joy and you remember this joy only when you just are convinced inwardly of the value that you bring in the relationships and, you see, in the family. So you started to connect with the value that you are in this life, and for the whole. So wow, it's an amazing story. Thank you so much for sharing, Sarah, and wish you open way and open golden path towards your family further and towards your siblings and in this new service that you started to discover. And while you were sharing, I was listening inwardly to a paradox. Creativity is communion, because of course they say that there is this saying that a creator shall be alone in order to be able to create. And maybe it's true for the pure act of creation. We need this aloneness. But as soon as you share the creativity, the result, of what you created, then communion comes. So through art, through creativity, communion results. So, this happens through you now. It's amazingly beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing this. And wow, thank you all for being here and for coming to the stage, and also for those of you who came to listen and to hold the space and to just feel the joy of being together again, and to just stay in this topic of paradoxes. And I encourage you to just listen inwardly and maybe to write in your journals, in your, on your paper, on your sacred spaces, whenever you feel to some paradoxes that come to you from your life, from your observations. I feel that these paradoxes might be beautiful inspiration for maybe some art that you will create, or just for the art of living from now on in a new energy, new level of consciousness, and in communion with this beautiful partner that life is for us. So thank you so much, and love you all, and enjoy being back, and let's be together in more spaces, and just asking you please to hold the space this Thursday. I'm invited to be in the webinar for the SQ, opening the sphere of SQ. So on Thursday, I will be together with Tanmayo to share my my story, my vision, my way of leaving the SQ. So I need your support. I need your presence and your holding of the space. And I will enjoy doing this with you and with so many people who will listen, or who will listen to the recording afterwards. So thank you so much. Let's meet in some other spaces, but in the meantime, let's enjoy the Sunday. Let's enjoy this energy. Let's enjoy the paradoxes that we notice and that we live, and let's enjoy life, and let's enjoy being a part of this beautiful family, the Jinkies family. Lots of love to all of you, and bye for now. I will just let some moments of silence, and after that I will close the room. Bye, dears. Love you.